Hello, welcome to this class, and this will be our final class in CSS. Basically, there's so much to learn in CSS, I would admit, but at least we've covered a lot in CSS so far. So let's just wrap it up here, and I would give you a link. I think you should just be able to go to the W3 school and be able to also get a lot of resources. Another one is Mozilla something, but I'll just probably put the link to this resource that you can actually still improve your CSS. But basically, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain on CSS. There's a lot to learn, like I said, and there's a lot you can actually do. But this class will be talking about media queries, and these help us to make our documents a lot more compatible to different media, different devices, basically. So that's what media queries actually do. And today we'll just use our projects we have been doing, the Adays shawarma project that we've been working on. Like you can see, this is where we stopped in the last class. If you followed, basically, so if you followed us, you would have gotten to this point. So if you've done this, now we have to just make it compatible to different media or different devices. So if you notice, if you resize at this shawarma, everything gets squished. I think this works a little bit better, but when you come here, everything goes so tiny and that, and doesn't look like it will work well on mobile. So that's where we bring media queries into the picture, and we'll be able to make our websites more compatible to different devices, that phones and of different sizes. So let's jump into the code. We've already seen this, and let's see what we need to do. So what are media? We've talked about media queries. Now, how do we use them in code? For instance, where we talk about the what I want us to first work on is this our menu here. I want it to be one per row when we go to as low as maybe 600, a width of 600 and below. Let it just be one instead of the way it is not media friendly, if I would say. So from a width of like 600, I think 600 should be around here or so. That's for my device. For width of like 600 pixel, I want it to be just one single one in a row. So how do we go about getting this done? Now let me introduce you to the rule sets, the media rule set in CSS. I will just go down to the last here, and I will just go and say add media. Okay, it's already giving me this is already giving me a helper here. So screen, and I want to put, and that screen here is telling you that you are working for different screen size media, and then I want to also add brackets, and I'll say maximum width then column. I want it to be for maximum width of 600 pixel, something like that. So from 600 pixel, maximum here, that is from 600 pixel downward, everything I write inside here would apply to it. That is what I mean. From the width of 600 pixel downward, so from 600 to 400 pixel downward, every rule set I put inside here would work for it. If I change this to minimum width of 600 pixel, what changes is, I mean, whatever rule set I add here would only happen from a width of 600 pixel upward. So but now since I want to do for media for smaller devices, I'll just put a maximum width of 600 pixel downward. So basically from 600 pixel downward, this rule set will work for it. That's just what I'm talking about. So what I said I wanted to work on was this menu, and I want the menu to become one per one. So where do we have it here? I'll just go do a quick copy and paste. what's actually doing that is this our grid container, where we did the display grid and we talked about one FL like that. So what I want it to do is I'll just copy it, then take it down to here. Inside of this curly braces, I'll just paste it. But literally what I'm still telling it is I'm still telling it to do the same thing. So nothing has changed. If you go back to our site and refresh, and let's say we try to reduce it, nothing really has changed. It will still give us the same functionality. So now what we can do here, I want it to be just one column, so I'll just put, instead of 3 FR, just put it this. And if you notice, let's go back to we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 items in the grid. So I want it now to display, instead of to repeat only twice, that is the role, I want it to repeat 6 times. So let's see what happens. Now let's resize it. I'm trying to pick the, let's resize it. You see it has resized. Now there are 1 2 3, but we're not getting everything as it all ought to be, and it's getting squished down with this one. It's just jumping everywhere. So how do we resolve this issue? Let's take it back. If you notice, at 600 pixel, everything jumps like that. You see, everything jumps at 600 pixel. So what do we do? I think here we just need to increase the view width to, let's say, 50 view width, 50%, and let's see if that solves our problem. And 60, I think it solved that. See, we have everything lined up as we want it to be, and our order form and everything. You see, up until here, that's 600 pixel, then it changes like that. So up until here, then it now gets back to what it used to be. I would rather put another breakpoint for this part also, but I don't want this video to be long. I just know you've gotten the idea behind it. You can put several break so that the amount doesn't get squished in. You could just put at this breakpoint, maybe between here and here, where everything tends to adjust. You make it 2 2 instead of 1 1. You could put another 1 FR to make it 2 2. That, let's say, from 800 upward, you could do something like that, and it would solve the issue that we are facing in this point. But the idea is you get the point of what I'm trying to achieve here. So now we've been able to do that with just a simple code. We didn't need to do so much to achieve that. Just 2 things we just changed, and we're able to achieve that. Maybe you could even work on the other form, but I won't work on it. But you could work on it so that everything will now get you could just add another row set for it. So that's that about media query. But another thing you can actually do, or that is most commonly done, is before I forget, this our navigation button. If you notice on mobile, you just have like a hamburger, 3 slashes, and then on this thing on desktop, everything just displays. We can actually do that also. I don't know, I think I should have the time to do that, and you see how everything comes together. So where is that happening? So this is where that is happening, our nav tag here, and we're using flex for it. If you could remember, let's go up and see if we can find it. We're using for our nav, we're using flex, and we are making it in between, so that everything here, this brand and all that, gets to the left, then this other div gets to the right. So whatever we need to do, we need to target it inside of this nav link. So this is what I will just do. I'll just do a div tag and I will just name it wrapper. That's all. Then inside of it, I want that 3 bar to be there. So I'll just do div with a class of bar. I'll just do a div with a class of bar, and I think I want it 3 times. For that, Ctrl C, I'll just paste it 3 times, and that's it. And if you go to our site, I don't think it is showing. I don't think it's showing yet. So what we could just do, we don't even want it to show basically, but let's just style it. So we don't want it to show there. So what we'll do is we just go and right here, I'll just in the main that's for the bigger screen, we'll just target wrapper and we'll set it to display none. So with this, it won't display on the bigger screen, but when we now go, I don't know, I'm seeing a red. Okay, yeah, I think I understand why that's. I have an empty. Okay, so when we now go inside our media query, we'll now go and target that same wrapper, and we want it to display here. So we'll say display block. Yes. So it displays block here. Then we'll now set our style for the divs, which is the bar. So we could say bar. There are other ways you could go about this, but this is just the way I want to do it. So we could set bar, we could put a background color of white. You don't have to spell white. Of white. Then we'll set a width of let's make 30 pixel, and the height of 4 pixel, So let's see. If you notice, it won't show here because we set it to display none on the big screen. So when you come here, you see it is here, it is displaying underneath it. Now watch this. Let's now put a margin around it, margin of let's say 3 pixel. I just want it to be visible, so let's see. Okay, this is exactly what I want. So 3 pixel, but we are still having this our home and about, and it's under. So what we will now do, we'll now go and pick this our, if you notice, we'll now go and pick this nav links, the UL in it, and tell it to display none. So basically that's what we'll do. So we'll just come back to our and just pick nav link. Sorry, we'll just pick nav links. We're picking the UL in it, and we're telling it to display none, and we save. So let's go and see what happens. You see, now we have our hamburger display, and when we go to big screen after 600, it just changes. If you're seeing this is basically how to go about doing it. So we can now turn the wrap it around a link and make sure, let's even do that. So the whole of the wrapper div, we could just put a link tag around it, and we'll say it's not going anywhere basically. So we'll just copy everything, just I'm coming, then copy we want the everything inside the wrapper. We'll cut it, so we'll put it inside of the link, so the whole of it is a link as well. So when we go and see, it's now acting like a link and like that, but it's not doing this over thing we have going on here. So we can just add it if we want. So we could say where did we do the over? We could make it general. So I'm coming, I want to make the over nav links over. Okay, it's supposed to work for it. They all have links and they all have the href. I don't know why it's working, but basically you get what we are trying to do here. I expected it to work as these ones are working, but somehow it's not doing that. But there's a way we can actually go about it later, but I don't want this video to be too long, and I want it to just solve this problem. So we could put an over to it and make it work. But basically we could, with JavaScript as well, on click of this, make a drop down to show where we have those navigation links. That's when we enter JavaScript. But basically this is how to get this done with CSS, and that's that about media query. Thank you for following our class to this point, and we hope you stay tuned for other classes, especially as we are going into JavaScript end. Thank you very much.